Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming back to Mr. Teddy's Pre-K. Mr. Teddy's not here right now. He's out shopping for his Halloween costume. Maybe next time you come, we'll see what it is that he chose. Today, you and I are going to read a book that's about pumpkins, but it's a special pumpkin. This is called The Legend of Spookley, the square pumpkin. Do you see Spookley on the front cover? Now, usually pumpkins are round. If I look at the back cover, I see a round pumpkin right there. But Spookley is different. He has a square shape on every side of him. So, really, he's a cube, but the shape that's on him is a square. Would you like to do a book walk with this book with me? Good. Let's find out what is Spookley all about. This book was written by Joe Troiano and illustrated by Susan Banta. They're the people that created this story. Joe Troiano wrote the words or made up the story. And these really cute illustrations were drawn by Susan Banta. Did you know that it takes a lot of people to make a good book? It's true. Let's look through this book together, okay? It says, one day in the pumpkin patch, the strangest little pumpkin hatched. If you look here, you can see a round pumpkin, and he's looking over at Spookley. Spookley is different. His shape is different than the other pumpkins in the patch. Spookley was odd. That means different. He was rare. He wasn't round, he was square. All the pumpkins in his patch had fun rolling around, but Spookley could not roll around. Why do you think Spookley could not roll around like his friends? It was because of his shape. His square shape was flat on the ground, so he couldn't roll around. Oh, poor Spookley. Halloween was just one day away when a big storm came. Oh my! If you look closely at this picture, you'll see some pumpkins being rolled around by the wind. And look at those clouds. And I see lightning. It's a big, big storm. What's going to happen? Oh no! The fence gave way. That means it broke. And all the pumpkins rolled out into the bay, into the water. Can you see that? Oh no! Should pumpkins be floating in the water? No, this is horrible. What's going to happen? Spookley knew what to do. It was up to him. He was the one. He teetered and he tottered. That means he moved himself from side to side. And finally, he flipped over on his side. Do you see him? He tipped and he flipped and he flipped. And then he stopped the gap where the fence had snapped. And he blocked the hole. Look at that, friends. Remember, there was a hole in the fence. And all the poor pumpkins were falling in the water. But Spookley solved the problem. He teetered and he tottered to move himself over to block that hole. He saved all the other pumpkins. Wow, he was a smart pumpkin, wasn't he? One by one, all the pumpkins piled on the stack with a bang and a bash and a crunch and a crash, and then all went black. That means they're all getting caught up against that fence like a pumpkin jam. Do you see that? Uh-oh. What's going to happen next? In the morning, the storm had stopped, and the farmer came to check his crop. When he moved the last pumpkin away, He could see an odd-shaped pumpkin was wedged against the fence. Who is it, everybody? That's right, it's Spookley. He was a little bruised, but he was so brave. The farmer knew of all the seeds he'd ever sown. That means all the pumpkins he's ever planted. Spookleys were the most special that had ever been grown. Look at that. The farmer is thankful for Spookley. And look at Spookley's face. He's happy. He was brave and he saved his friends. And the farmer recognizes that Spookley is special. So next year, when it was time to sow, that means to plant, he sowed those seeds in every row and he watered them and watched them grow. And that morning, about mid-June, when the pumpkin patch began to bloom, there were tiny pumpkins everywhere, hundreds and hundreds of them, and most of them were square. Can you see that, guys? There's Spookley. And look at all the new pumpkins. They're square shaped, just like Spookley. And some were cubes. That means there's a square shape on every side, like a box. Some were rectangular. That means they have two long sides and two short sides. Some were triangular. That means they had three sides like a triangle. Some were red, some were blue. Some had polka dots and rainbow too. Look at that. Do you see the polka dot pumpkins? And on the bottom, I see rainbow pumpkins. Oh my goodness. So now the farmer has a whole crop of all different shaped pumpkins. Now, every year on Halloween, Spookley's patch is quite a scene. People come from far and near to see the wonders that grew that year. They stop, they gawk, they gaze, they stare, and then they pick a pumpkin that's either round, triangular, or perfectly square.